Hello, my dear children. Jai Hind. Welcome to today's English online class. I hope everyone is keeping well. Today, we are going to learn the first lesson from our supplementary textbook, Footprints Without Feet. Our first lesson is A Triumph of Surgery, written by James Herriot. James Alfred White, better known by his pen name James Herriot, was a British veterinary surgeon and a writer. He was born on 3rd October 1916 and died on 23rd February 1995. His writing career lasted from 1940 to 1992. Many of his literary works are autobiographical by nature. What do we mean by triumph? As we know, the word triumph means a great victory or an achievement, right? Yes. The word surgery is different from what you think of now, because in this lesson, surgery means a place where a doctor or a medical practitioner treats or advises his patients. That is surgery. So the title, A Triumph of Surgery, means a great victory of a hospital or a clinic. Before getting into the lesson, I would like to ask you some questions. Do you have a pet dog at home? Is it of a good breed? What's its name? How do you take care of your pet dog? Do you follow proper exercise and diet? Okay, fine. Is it smart, healthy and energetic? Okay, good. So from my questions, you might have understood that we are going to learn a lesson about a pet dog, right? Yes. Our lesson, A Triumph of Surgery, is about a pet dog named Tricky, who was under the treatment of our own writer, Dr. Herriot. This pet dog Tricky was overfed and overpampered or overcared by his mistress, Mrs. Pumphrey. Mrs. Pumphrey was a rich lady who used to provide all kinds of luxuries to her pet dog, like daybed, nightbed, cushions, rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, supper bowl, and a whole wardrobe full of different kinds of coats for different weathers and all. And due to overfeeding, Tricky became very fat. That's why he was under the treatment of our writer, Dr. Herriot. Dr. Herriot already suggested Mrs. Pumphrey to follow proper diet and exercise and to cut down the sweet things. That actually made Tricky hugely fat. But when Dr. Herriot saw Tricky by the side of the street again, he was shocked at the appearance of it, because it became hugely fat, like a blotted sausage. Blotted sausage, the word blotted sausage means swollen meat. So it was like that. It was like a blotted sausage with 4 legs at each corner. He was shocked at his appearance. But Mrs. Pumphrey started to explain what actually happened. She told that she thought the problem behind his listlessness, lack of energy, was malnutrition. So she started to give something extra. That means she started to give malt, cod liver oil, Horlicks, etc. during the meals. And she seemed to follow no instructions given by Dr. Herriot regarding exercise, diet, sweet things and all. She did not cut down the sweet things as suggested by Dr. Herriot. This made Dr. Herriot very angry, and he severely ordered Mrs. Pumphrey to follow all the instructions properly. She was very sad, and she left the place as if she was determined to follow all the instructions. But Dr. Herriot was sure that he was going to get a call from Mrs. Pumphrey soon, because by seeing the appearance of Tricky and the way of tottering, Tricky was not walking properly, he was tottering. So by seeing his appearance and the way of tottering, Dr. Herriot was sure that he would get a call from Mrs. Pumphrey soon. And the expected call came. Since he expected for the call, he made his plans beforehand. All he wanted was to get Tricky out of the house for a period of time. So as soon as he got a call from Mrs. Pumphrey, he suggested Tricky be hospitalized for a fortnight. Fortnight means a period of 2 weeks. For a fortnight, and be kept under observation during that time. But Mrs. Pumphrey could not accept that. She almost swooned. She thought that both of them, that means Tricky and Mrs. Pumphrey, could not leave without meeting each other. But Dr. Herriot took a firm line. He himself carried Tricky to his car to carry him to his hospital. All the staff and all the servants of Mrs. Pumphrey's home brought a pile of things for the comfort of Tricky to be carried to the hospital, which were kept in the car. But Dr. Herriot was sure that he was not going to use any of such things. He took Tricky to his hospital, to his surgery. At the hospital, when he reached, he was immediately surrounded by a pack of household dogs. He used to bring up some dogs in his surgery. When they saw their master was carrying a new member, they were curious to know who it was. So everyone came and surrounded Dr. Herriot. But Tricky was very listless. He did not have any kind of energy. He was just looking at the pack of dogs. When he was kept on the carpet, he was not moving. So the pack of household dogs thought that it was an uninteresting object and they left the place. And Dr. Herriot planned for no medical treatment. What he did was that he decided to have an entirely different way of treatment. At first he prepared a bed for Tricky in a warm loose box, just like other dogs had. And for the first 2 days, he did not give any kind of food but plenty of water, only water. And he observed Tricky closely. At the end of the second day, he started to show some kind of interest to the surroundings. And on the third day, when he heard the sound of the dogs in the garden or yard, he started to whimper or he started to make feeble noise. And on that day, he was allowed to go to the ground or go to the garden. When he opened the door, Tricky again trotted. He was not moving properly. He trotted to the yard and he was surrounded by all the household dogs. They rolled over him and they thoroughly inspected him. Then when they moved to the garden, Tricky also followed them. And during the feeding time, Dr. Herriot was present. They used to keep bowls for each dog together. The dogs want to move forward to have the food from the bowl. If anyone fell down, they had to compete with each other to move to the front to have the food. That was the usual routine. On that day, Tricky was just watching what was happening there. And after the meal time, after all the other dogs left the place, he went to the bowls and he started to lick from one of the bowls. So the next day, an extra bowl was kept for Tricky. And that day, Dr. Herriot was very happy that he was trying to compete with other dogs. He was trying to jostle to move to the front to get his share. So Dr. Herriot was very happy. From that day onwards, his progress was rapid or very fast. He did not have any kind of medical treatment. He was allowed to run with the other dogs. He used to have some kinds of scrimmages or little struggles during mealtime and all. And soon he became an accepted member of the family, of the crew, of the pack of dogs. Even if he was a silky, unlikely little object, he was accepted by other dogs. And he also started to enjoy every bit of time he spent with the other dogs. He was being bowled over, tramped on, squashed every few minutes, but he was enjoying all those things because he did not have any such time ever before in his lifetime. And he was like a tiger. He used to fight like a tiger during the mealtime for his share. He used to hunt the rats in the old hen house and all. He started to show the progress fast. All the while, Mrs. Pumphrey used to call Dr. Herriot at least a dozen times every day. She was very curious to know about her pet dog. She wanted to know whether the bed was turned properly, whether Tricky was given the correct coat according to the weather and all. But Dr. Herriot used to dodge all those questions because he did not have any proper answer. He did not want to use any of such things, as you know, right? But he could say that Tricky was convalescing. The word convalescing means he was recovering from the illness fast. So when she heard that word convalescing, there was a change in her mind and she started to bring fresh round eggs for Tricky. She used to send at least 2 dozens of eggs every day. But as we can guess, he did not want to give those eggs to Tricky, but he and his people at the surgery started to have the eggs. They used to have at least 2 eggs every day for the breakfast. Then she started to bring the bottles of wine to enrich Tricky's blood. Again, that was not used for Tricky, but they started to have it during the lunch time. They used to drink 2 glasses of wine before lunch and several glasses during the meal. Then they could not believe when brandy came to put a final edge on Tricky's constitution. Again, they used to drink it during the supper time. Actually, Mrs. Pumphrey sent the eggs, wine, brandy, everything for improving the health of Tricky, but nothing was used by Dr. Herriot for Tricky, but they themselves had it. So those people had a temptation to keep Tricky as a permanent guest in their surgery. But since Dr. Herriot promised Mrs. Pumphrey that he would send him back after a fortnight, that means after 2 weeks, he called Mrs. Pumphrey when Tricky was all right. And Mrs. Pumphrey could not believe. As soon as she got the call, she came to the surgery within minutes. She reached the surgery within minutes in her car. When Dr. Herriot reached the car, when the chauffeur or the driver opened the door, Dr. Herriot could see Mrs. Pumphrey was very tensed, or she was distraught in the car. And she asked Dr. Herriot whether it was right, whether it was true that Tricky recovered from his illness, because she could not believe. She used to treat Tricky at her home for several days, but he did not recover from his illness. But within a fortnight, Tricky recovered at the surgery. That's why she could not believe. But Dr. Herriot told that there is no need for you to come out. I'll carry him to you. When he went to the garden, Tricky was playing. He was spending his time with the other dogs. He became a lithe or flexible, hard-muscled animal. He became completely healthy and energetic. When Tricky was carried to the car, Mrs. Pumphrey was still inside the car and she was still distraught or tensed. When Tricky saw his mistress, he made a tremendous leap from the arms of Dr. Herriot and he sailed into Mrs. Pumphrey's lap. Mrs. Pumphrey actually at first she startled, and then she started to defend herself because Tricky swam over her and he started to lick her face and he started to bark. So she was defending. During that excitement, Dr. Herriot and the chauffeur went inside the surgery to carry out the bed, cushions and all the things which were given at first for the comfort of Tricky back to the car. None of them was used during this time. As the car moved, Mrs. Pumphrey leaned out of the window. Her eyes were filled with shining tears. And she started to talk. Her lips were shivering. She told, "Oh, Mr. Herriot, how can I ever thank you? This is the triumph of surgery." There comes the significance of the title, the triumph of surgery. Actually, Mrs. Pumphrey tried to treat her dog at her house for several days, but she did not understand the real problem of Tricky. The real problem of Tricky was actually overfeeding, overcaring, overpampering and all. She used to give a lot of food. During the meals, she started to give something extra like malt, cod liver oil, Horlicks. She did not give proper exercise. So that was the actual problem. Dr. Herriot understood the real problem. That's why he wanted Tricky to be in his hospital at least for a fortnight. During the fortnight, during the 2 weeks, he did not give Tricky any extra food. He gave him plenty of water. He allowed Tricky to play with other dogs in the surgery. He was given a lot of exercise with which he could recover Tricky from his illness. That's why within a fortnight he could recover from his problems. So Mrs. Pumphrey understood that, or she thought that that was a triumph or victory of that place, that surgery. That is the significance of the title. Now let's look at the meaning of new words from this lesson. The word sausage means finely minced meat stuffed into long cylindrical cases and divided into small lengths by twisting or tying. The word roomy means a watery discharge from a mucous membrane, especially of the nose or eyes. Here in this lesson, roomy eyes means wet eyes. The word listless means lacking energy and enthusiasm. The word lumbago means muscular pain in the lower part of the back. The word regime means prescribed course of exercise and diet. The word distraught means extremely worried. The word surgery means a place where a doctor, a dentist, or a veterinary surgeon treats patients. The word scrimmage means a rough or confused struggle. The word convalescing means recovering from an illness. The word lithe means flexible. Now, let's think about the message of the lesson. Have you gotten a message from this lesson, a triumph of surgery? Can you relate the characters of the lesson to anyone you know? Okay, just relate Tricky to the present day children and Mrs. Pumphrey to present day parents. Now, have you got any idea? Yes. Nowadays, we can see many children who are provided with all kinds of luxuries by their parents, right? No telling about all the parents, but still there are such parents and children. Those parents don't want their children to suffer in any way, is it? But they don't think about the after effect of it. Actually, those children are going to a very dangerous situation. When they enter their own life, they'll expect for such comforts and luxuries. And when they are not given with, or when they don't get such things, they will go depressed. That will happen. Coming to the point of food, nowadays children eat junk food and fast food often. We know that such kinds of food are unhealthy, but still when they demand, parents buy it for them and they eat such things. That will again lead to a dangerous situation. That will, nowadays we can know about different kinds of diseases which are affected by the unhealthy food. Always give good food, that means healthy food, homely food to the children. Coming to the point of exercise, nowadays, do the children go for proper exercise? Are they allowed to go for outdoor activities? We can see many children who sit in the home all the time using their mobile phones or watching television or playing games in the computer and all. They don't go for exercise. Again, the parents want to make them understand the value, the need of exercise, the need of proper diet and all. Children should be given proper exercise and diet so that we can have a healthy generation. They can be given with lectures, but still they have to understand the reality of life. Then we will get a smart, energetic and healthy generation. That is a message we can learn from this lesson, A Triumph of Surgery. Thank you.